I literally fell into the recruitment industry after returning back after maternity leave, which was, well, 25 years ago now. And in that time, I've managed some high-performing and very successful recruitment teams across various industry sectors. I always remember coming into recruitment in a bit of a daze, but I always remember something that my very first manager in recruitment said to me, and that was, people are our product, and people change. You need to be resilient, and you keep on needing to move forwards. And I think I've really sort of, that's really resonated with me over the last 2 years, with obviously COVID as a backdrop. Whilst I'm experienced in both perm and contract volume recruitment, I also feel that in the last 10 years, I've really found my niche within the RPO contract recruitment delivery model, and especially in the last sort of 7 years or so within the healthcare sector. RPO stands for Recruitment Process Outsourcing. It's a really cost-effective way for organisations to strengthen and enhance their current HR and talent acquisition team strategies by outsourcing either part or all of their recruitment end-to-end processes. So it could be anything from talent sourcing, attraction, onboarding, screening, all of the offer management and everything that goes with that, along with the employee engagement and the retention once those contractors are actually hired and in place with our clients. I developed Star Antico's IR35 strategy, which was new legislation that was coming into play, which should have been in 2020, but due to COVID that was delayed or suspended for a year. So the new legislation came into force in April of this year. Because we were ahead of the game and really sort of planning what our strategy should look like, we were able to successfully deliver and implement our IR35 process with all of our clients and our contractors. And we did this before COVID, so it enabled us to conduct a number of audits, which resulted in workshops and IR35 clinics to educate and advise on the new legislation for all parties, really. So that was all of the hiring managers, the HR teams that we were working with, and all of our contractors, so that everyone was fully prepared and aware of all of the changes. And this really allowed our clients to access talent using different contracting models and engagement methods in a compliant and ethical way. We really work in harmony with our clients as their RPO partner to effectively deliver a streamlined and blended service that's tailored to their needs and their business. Ultimately, it means that clients can utilise an embedded and agile project resource team from Star Antico that can be scaled up or scaled down depending on their client needs. It allows us to deliver a pipeline of quality talent into their business, which reduces their time to hire. Clients will also benefit from cost reductions and saving of their management time using an RPO model, as they really become less reliant on using multiple agencies to supply resource. One supplier to manage is much more cost effective and use of their time. One of the things with an RPO model is it allows the clients to really protect their employer branding, and compliance is upheld at all times. The other benefit is the live reporting and the analytics of hiring data, which allows us to identify market trends and any challenges that might be around the corner, so that we can make sure that we're ready to tackle those head on. All of this is really underpinned by the governance and the compliance of the RPO contract model. Due to the pandemic, we immediately expanded our internal projects and HR teams to add more resource, so that we were able to facilitate and advise on both a one-to-one basis and collectively for all of our contractors and our client groups. Really using the power of technology, we communicated effectively throughout by using Microsoft Teams, social media blogs and digital platforms. Undoubtedly, the biggest fears we all faced, feelings of isolation, separation due to remote working, job security, concern for loved ones, missing our family and friends, the impact of juggling work with suddenly homeschooling, and the financial impacts, and really the fears of the unknown. So we worked really hard to try and address some of these issues. We offered financial support by creating a new sickness policy around COVID. We also changed our policy for carrying over any unused holidays. We actively encouraged all of our contractor workforce to make the most of using their holiday, to have time away from the laptop. And even though we couldn't jet off abroad on nice sunny holidays, there were still things that we could do to really make the most of the situation that we were all facing. So we did encourage our contractors to take time out of the workplace during a really stressful time. We offered flexibility for those that were dealing with homeschooling and all of the challenges that they faced with that. We have an employee assistance program which offers support, confidential support to our contractor workforce, and we actively encourage contractors to reach out for support if they felt they needed additional resource to help them cope with the situation we were all living in. We also conducted a number of employee engagement surveys with our contractor workforce, so that we could listen to what their needs were and sort of try and take action by using their feedback with our client groups. We also listened to our clients as well, because we really wanted to mirror their COVID strategy to our contractor workforces. We also realised, not just for ourselves, but also for all of our clients and our contractors, the isolation. I think that was the biggest fear that everyone had, just this feeling of not having that team interaction. So we conducted a number of weekly events to really try and improve mental health and well-being. We conducted a series of remote coffee breaks. There was no pressure for anyone to join. There was no work agenda. It was really reaching out to our contractors, to our internal teams, to find out what people were doing with their time and how they were coping with lockdown. We covered multiple things from DIY, home improvements, different walks that people had taken, different activities they were doing with their family. One of the biggest topics that always came up was what the trending sort of box sets were on Netflix, and it really allowed sort of an hour to really sort of break up the situation in the work environment that we were all facing. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good interaction there from our contractor workforce. Our HR team were fantastic with rolling out a number of different activities on a weekly basis, seated yoga, meditation sessions, photo competitions, to try and encourage people on their walks during lockdown to take photos, taking photos of their work from home setup, team quizzes, and various sort of digital well-being and mindfulness sessions to address some of the day-to-day pressures that we were all facing. We also partnered with I Am Here, which is a platform that enables cultural change in organisations, prioritising mental health and well-being, and really promoting that message that it really is okay to say that you're not okay. We upskilled our field-based teams with a suite of tools to really drive digital engagement within healthcare professionals. Traditional sales techniques had become less effective, and healthcare professionals became more willing to explore digital online engagement as opposed to the virtual face-to-face meetings, which were halted obviously due to COVID lockdown restrictions. Another tool that we used was to accelerate our DICE service offering, which stands for Digital In-Call Excellence, which improves remote selling capabilities and gives 360-degree insights into field reps' performances, utilising feedback from real healthcare professionals. Really, the new age of digital engagement, which Star-Autico had been developing for the last 10 years, suddenly had a stage and a captive audience. Digital engagement had arrived. From a recruitment point of view, interviews were all taking place using Zooms or Microsoft Teams. Our new hires into our client groups were suddenly faced with day one working remotely. Everything was driven by remote working. Our contractors had to convert their homes and living space into their new office, and at times their educational workplace for their children whilst they were homeschooling. I really feel that as an organisation, we've demonstrated our ability to continually develop and to embrace and adapt to the change through this period of uncertainty. Like so many workplaces in the UK and indeed worldwide, the workplace boundaries that we all knew we'd become accustomed to had changed drastically. Technology and people really learned to adapt throughout that period of uncertainty. But as a business, we will continue to invest and evolve so that we can add value to our clients and contractor workforces, to utilise new technologies and identify effective employee engagement tools and solutions. In unpredictable times, driven by world-changing events, one thing that really won't wane as an organisation is our passion to overcome obstacles and our agility to react to the unknown. We'll also continue to learn throughout this period and strive to deliver the very best-in-class market-leading solutions that will continually empower our clients and our contractor workforce, that ultimately, over time, will impact healthcare professionals and patient outcomes.